really nice one.
Because what I do is I take little videos, put them on YouTube. So we'll have one for the muskrats,
Get your fingers out of your
one
nose.
for the butlers, and then I'll put one up for the Crittendens.
Next we'll have the tribute to Dorcas Landrum Butler by Bill Butler.
I second what John Elmo said about we appreciate the work that y'all have done, the Trail of Tears Association, and whoever else helped with this. It's just great, and we're deeply honored and privileged to Elijah and Dorcas Butler. You know, we're honored because of the descendants of them, and we're privileged to be able to pass this information on to our grandkids and great-grandkids and however long we're alive to do that, and we just appreciate it so much. Dorcas Landrum Butler was born in 1829 on her parents' large farm on the, and here I go, I laughed at my brother, you know, how he was going to pronounce that Indian name a while ago, and here I am with
Etowah.
Etowah. Thank you, thank you. See, John Elmo, you can get help from just that. On the Etowah River in the Cherokee Nation East in what is now Lumpkin County, Georgia. Her father was a white man named James Landrum. He also was a Scotsman. Her mother was half-blood Cherokee named Rebecca Duncan. Rebecca Duncan's, well, her mother is one-half Cherokee, and her grandparents, her grandmother was Dorcas Binge, and she was a full-blood Cherokee. And her grandfather was young Charles Gordon Duncan, who was a Scotsman. Before going further, let me mention her siblings. Dorcas was the 12th child out of 13 children. And let me read you their names. I assume the oldest was Nanny Elizabeth, Hiram Terrell, Charles, James, Rebecca, Benjamin Franklin. I don't think it was the real Benjamin Franklin. David Dixon, Jemima, John, Aaron, then Dorcas and Rachel. Now I'm going to go back up to Charles, and a friend of mine, Terry Landrum, he's very knowledgeable about the history of our people, and he was telling me the story about Charles, which was his great-great-great-great-grandfather, and he said that, and I think it was Alabama, that he married a white woman, and he said well, first of all, let me back up here. He told the story, and I said, well, Terry, if you don't object, I'm going to share it with everybody on Saturday. He didn't say I couldn't, so I'm telling you. But anyway, he married a white woman. They had 3 or 4 kids, and Terry says, I guess he was ready to move on, so he left her. And he goes to, he marries another lady, a white woman, and had 3 or 4 kids with her, and leaves. And then he marries a Cherokee. And I think it was those two that came on the Trail of Tears to Oklahoma. But anyway, they had 3 or 4 kids, and he got the itch to move on again. As he was sitting straddle of his horse, she shot him. Now, it didn't kill him, but it killed the horse. And shot him through the leg. And so he waited till she was not around, I guess after he healed up, and then he got on that horse and headed back toward Alabama. So,
Not on that horse.
Huh?
Not that horse.
Not that horse, that's right.
if we're listening.
My good friends over here. That's not that horse, you're right. But anyway, and he went back to his second wife, they said, and that's where he died. But anyway, after about 1852, well, let me back up here. Dorcas came west on the forced removal in an unknown detachment, probably accompanying some of her siblings. They settled in the area near what is now Grove, Oklahoma. About 1852, she married a full-blood Cherokee named Elmo, who was later known by the English name of Elijah Proctor and Elijah Butler. They were the parents of 10 children: Susanna Annie Fox, William Joel Butler, Elsie Welch, Aaron Butler, James Proctor Butler, John Elijah Butler, Elizabeth Crittenden, and the 3 children who died in infancy, Elijah, Louisa, and Esther, who are buried right on the other side there. And what I'd like to do at this time is Annie Fox, Susanna Fox, if you're a descendant of hers, would you hold up your hand? Okay. Annabelle is one. Walker, she's not here. Okay, how about, okay, William Joel Butler, he married, a lot of you know Jim Parker, who lived in Grove. Will married his aunt, and they went to Oregon, and that's where they both passed and are buried there. Elsie Welch, don't tell me I don't have one Welch here. I can't believe this. So, anyway, Elsie's buried there. She married John Cobb Welch. And then Aaron Butler, I don't recall how many kids he had. I guess it's in her book, but Aaron's buried right down there. And I know there's a William Butler and a Leona, which was 2 of his children. James Proctor Butler, that is our great granddad, lives here. So I know we got some of his descendants here. Hold up your hand. I believe we're going to win this deal. Yeah. Okay. And then John Elijah Butler, right here, and his son Lucian Bell Butler. And I'll never forget this. At the time, Sharon and I and the kids were living in Jay, and I was coaching there at Jay. And my granddad, Butler, had, right here, had passed away. And a car drove up at the street and got out. This guy got out, and I thought my granddad had come back to life. He looked just like him. And but that was Lucian Bell Butler. And he had one daughter, and I think she's in California, and I don't know whether she's still alive or not. John Elijah Butler, which we mentioned, and then Elizabeth Crittenden, right there. Okay. Like I say, there were 3 children who died in infancy. The Butler home was burned during the Civil War, and afterward the family moved to the Butler Chapel area of Honey Creek. Subsequent to her death, Dorcas received a widow's pension in recognition of her husband's Civil War service. She died on January 13, 1898, probably at her home, and was buried in the Butler Cemetery. Okay, that's it. Again, we just appreciate what you all have done in setting a marker for those 2. And we're very proud of Dorcas and Elijah. And another thing about Elijah is that I was told is that of all the things that he accomplished, being ordained into the Methodist ministry, and I know Terry was telling me, Landrum again, he said that was a big deal, and to be ordained into the deal. And then I thought the being a judge was a pretty big deal itself, you know. But so they, as a couple, accomplished a lot, and we're just so proud to be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Next is we will have to go down to the Daniel Muskrat stone area, which is just down the way. All of you that can and would like to do that.
Can I
Yeah.
make one more announcement? When everybody leaves here, the old home place right up on top of the hill, everybody's welcome to stop by. Restrooms up there, water, and we got I set out some old pictures and some old writings from my great granddad James Proctor, and also I got a paper in there that shows when Elijah was recommended to be district judge when he was appointed up there too. But just some interesting facts. Everybody's welcome to stop and do it. It's one other thing. Now I want to say this, not tooting my own horn on this. I'm humbled by it. But talking about my great-granddad Elijah, which was a preacher, and then his son J.P. Proctor was a preacher, and I heard that Aaron was a preacher too. So there's 2 generations, and then the 3rd generation was my uncle, John E. Butler, was Billy and John Elmo's dad, was a Baptist preacher. And I think how that came about, my granddad, Jimmy Butler, I think he was a little bit more honored than the rest of them. And so he married into the Roberts family, May Roberts, and May was a Baptist. So I believe that's how we got switched over from Methodist to the Baptist. But also, and like I said, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm trying to follow in the traditions of that line. And like I was introduced, I am an evangelist, and I'll tell everybody I'm a modern-day circuit rider. The only difference is I get to drive in a Ford pickup with air conditioning. I don't have to do it on horseback. But I do pray that there is a generation more Butlers here coming up, that out of that line, there'll be one to follow me preaching the Word of God. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if we move down to the Muskrat.